No matter how clean we imagine our surroundings to be, we actually share our environment with countless microorganisms. The largest of these are dust mites. These microscopic animals live around the hairs on skin. Smaller microorganisms are microscopic species which live in colonies containing millions of individuals. Human beings are surrounded by these invisible creatures. The enemy lies in wait at every moment to seize the opportunity to invade our bodies. Bacteria, single-celled organisms which multiply as soon as they find a suitable environment. Fungi,
Parasites which dominate humid environments.
and viruses, the most dangerous invaders, of whose existence we only became aware through the invention of the electron microscope. The most cunning and dangerous are the flu viruses, the smallpox virus, Ebola, polio, the AIDS virus, and others. A century ago, scientists were seeking the answer to a mystery under the primitive light microscope. Cells were destroyed at an astonishing speed by an invisible enemy. The reason for that mass death of cells was a secret to scientists at that time. Until, that was, the invention of the electron microscope by German scientists in the 1930s. In this imaging technology, electron particles began to be used instead of the light beam used in ordinary microscopes. When objects were magnified 7,000 times, this extraordinary enemy could finally be seen. Viruses. Thus it was that a new dimension of life was discovered. A community formed of fascinating geometrical shapes, trillions of which live in the space the size of a full stop. For that reason, they are regarded as the smallest form of life on Earth, because they are as small as 1,000th of a millimeter. Viruses have been designed to survive even under the harshest conditions. They are able to wait in crystalline form until they encounter the cell that they will take over. They are patient. They can even wait for hundreds of years in frozen animation between life and death. They have been coded to multiply, and of course, to wreak harm as they do so.
These are the detailed structures of viruses, made more intelligible with the help of modern-day computers.
And the AIDS virus, in the face of which man is so powerless. Inside it is a DNA chain, carefully protected in a protein covering. The information it contains describes how new AIDS viruses are to be created in the cells it invades. Viruses invade the cells of plants, animals, and human beings, and are unable to live and multiply without using their nutrients, energy, and organelles. That is because viruses lack the necessary systems to live and multiply on their own. For that reason, they invade a cell which is compatible with their needs and occupy it. That target cell then soon becomes a virus-producing factory. At the first stage, the virus very carefully identifies whether or not the cell is suitable for it. It checks the cell out thanks to special receptors. Later, it uses dissolving enzymes to open a hole in the cell membrane. through which it deposits its genetic code inside the cell. You are now watching viruses as they move into cells. The cell, unaware that anything is wrong, continues with its normal activities. It begins to copy this new DNA, imagining that it is creating the proteins it needs. Because of this clever strategy, the cell soon becomes a factory creating its own enemy. Shortly afterwards, the cell becomes full of viruses and explodes. The new viruses that are given off will continue to implement this intelligent reproduction strategy in other cells. Viruses are rather selective. Different types of viruses attack different structures in our bodies. Rabies attacks the cells which constitute the tissue of the brain. Various cold viruses head for the cells covering the nose and the sinuses. The mumps virus only infects the saliva glands in our mouth. The hepatitis virus settles in the liver.
The flu infection is the most difficult for our immune system to deal with, as every year a new flu virus causes the epidemic.
And every winter we encounter that virus for the first time. Our immune system has to put up a serious fight in the face of flu viruses with different characteristics. That is the reason for the production of a new flu vaccine every year. This deep freeze contains various flu viruses. Each container holds a generation of flu which gave rise to an epidemic in a different year. These viruses are still very dangerous. That is because they are not dead, only sleeping. If you warm up and inhale the 1980 season flu virus, you will fall ill. Behind these cold corridors and closed doors sleeps a virus that is still more dangerous to man. The smallpox virus. Its properties are still the subject of research on account of the strategy it employs and the way it easily overwhelms its objective. It is kept in only 2 places in the world, the United States and Russia. It will continue to be stored until its functions are fully understood. It is evident that viruses behave within a most effective strategy and plan. To such an extent, in fact, that the properties possessed by a virus are totally designed in such a way as to make use of the system within the cell. It is obvious that the virus has a creator who is also perfectly aware of the very complex working principles that the cell possesses. There is no doubt that this creator is Almighty God, who creates both the virus and the cell in which it will settle from nothing. We did not create the heavens and earth and everything between them except with truth. Causing the human body millions of times larger than themselves to fall ill and even die, these minute viruses are specially created by God to remind people of their helplessness. It is God who creates sickness and who restores us to health. Viruses are created as the cause of sickness. The cure is hidden in our immune systems, another miracle of creation within our own bodies.